I was young when my mother first learned of my autism. It was the age when memories melted into puddles the instant they were formed, so I don't remember much, but what I do remember is my mother's attempts at teaching me sign language, because I couldn't speak, couldn't read or write. The sounds that fell from my mouth amounted to not much more than whimpers, and they would land underground with a thud quiet enough to cause earthquakes in hell. Those whimpers still tremor through everything I touch. The hush of my then non-negotiable silence crawls through my spine and has a home in my bones to this day. The shadow of my quiet shines with the grayness, casting everything in a hue that looks the way hospitals smell when someone dies. A silence so tragic it has to be mournful. In those quiet mornings, my mother rocked me in her arms, cradling me to hush my tears as she would whisper prayers to a God she wasn't even sure she believed in. Did she believe in silence? Did she pray to the hum that exists between the stillness when no one is talking? Because silence, it terrifies me. I was young when my father first taught me control. Kneel to a floor that reeks of pine saw, consuming the cinders of his own crumbling soul through cracked pipes that act as shackles. I remember how those whisper-like crackles emanated from those pipes before shivering into void when pierced by his coughing. The smoke would billow from his mouth and blossom for a moment into tiny little lotuses, floating, glowing brilliant in the morning sunlight. The hush was a remedy that gave me an excuse to remain oblivious to his drug addiction, and his presence was an echo that would dance through the vacancy where my infant cries should have been. Perhaps my hands hold the weight of his addiction, and my mother's tearful rage serenaded my vocal scribbles because I can't remember it. If I clench a fist hard enough in my body, I can feel the burden of my hush graffitied across my parents' faces as they would argue. Perhaps they needed to hear me tell them that I loved them. Perhaps silence is a cancer, brewing in the spaces where voices live, take asylum and make homes. Had I known the value of a voice, I would have cried the day my father left. But what I said was nothing. 10 years later, reading his obituary, his face corrupting the inner inertia of memory into active emotion, what I said was nothing. I was 5 when I said my first words. The immaculate germ of elocution sculpted scribbles into speech. The doctors were stunned. My mom, she credits Jesus. But the hush still visits me. I can still taste the extinction of language underneath my tongue. Its bone-dry flavor trickles down my throat like rancid milk. My lips regret their own existence when I'm at a loss for words. Unheard, every sentiment remains lodged in my esophagus, clawing at the walls, seeping through every pore, every open wound patched up with the hush like I chose this quiet, enabled this silence, noosed my own voice with typewriter ribbons, bleeding ink, reminding me that my voice still exists, whether I acknowledge this or not. Like my lips are capable of so much more than silence. I wish I actually believed that.
Wow.